Okay, so I'm just gonna, just for the benefit, especially of Genna and Shakol, I'm just gonna do a quick little camera turnaround here, and hopefully I don't unplug the whole system in the process. But just to kind of give you guys a sense of our classroom here and the students. Everybody wave to our.
So how's it going, everybody? My name is Nate Broadus. This is my coworker, Scott. We're from Catalyst Connection. What we're here to talk about are jobs in manufacturing and technology and robotics and all that sort of cool stuff. I think one of the coolest things that we got going on is that almost all of the companies that we work with are making stuff that's like the most futuristic stuff in the world. Like it's pretty cool. And I think that one of the things that's really great is that you guys came here to learn about this on your free time in your summer, and that, you know, you'll have the opportunity to one day go on and, you know, be creating these amazing things as well. We brought some of our great friends with us. We brought Genna from, Genna, you want to tell them a little bit about yourself? And
Sure. So my name is Genna Mucci, like Nate said. I work at Tudi Mechanical Systems, which is a mechanical contractor here in Pittsburgh. So what that means is we install air conditioning systems, lighting, plumbing, pretty much any of the things that you're going to see in the building that you're in now, or like in your school or your home, those types of things. I'm an operations coordinator here. So that means that I manage the daily operations of all of our technicians in the field.
awesome, thanks, Genna. And then second, we have Ms. Shakol Winmon. Shakol, can you say hi to the kids and give them your background?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Shakol Winmon. I work at RE2 Robotics, and here I am a lab assistant too. I just got a raise. And so I basically handle like all the shipping and receiving. I do some electrical, I do some mechanical, I do 3D printing as well. And we make robots to help humans stay safe. That's pretty much what we do here.
Awesome. Yeah, so those are two great representatives of our program. They love coming out and talking to groups of students like you all and figuring out how they can get you guys to be the next generation of people building robots, people building air conditioning systems. Who's happy this building has air conditioning? Right. Everybody in their building that has AC is happy that they got it. Jenna's over there making that happen. My house, actually, we just bought a new house and our furnace was bad. We had to get new AC, so we went a week with no air conditioning. And it's like 2 weeks ago. You guys know it's pretty hot the past couple weeks, right? All right, yeah. So Jenna's out there making that happen, and then Shakol, she's working at an organization where they're making all sorts of robots to save people's lives and do all sorts of cool stuff. One of the coolest things I ever saw in my life was I went there to the company where she works at to take a tour, and they had underwater robots playing catch with each other. And like one robot's throwing the ball, the guy's catching it and throwing it back, and the robot's catching it. So I'm like, wait a second, like there's people that have jobs doing this kind of stuff. I was like, how do I figure out how to get like you guys into those roles? So with that said, I'm gonna pass it off to Scott and he can go.
All right, let me change this to the speaker view. So when the prime person is talking, you know where you're looking at. And Shakol, why don't we start with you? What I'd like for you to do is just share a little bit more about how did you end up becoming an employee there at RE2. Maybe tell us a little bit more about what the company does in general. But I'd really like for you to share a little bit of your story and your pathway to these jobs, because it's not a traditional pathway for sure.
Sure, it's not. So I got started in this field because I had a 3D printer at home. I bought a 3D printer a few years ago. I wanted to do something different with me and my children. I thought it would be like a good hobby to get into, just doing different things. And I got it. I really liked it. And Nate seen one of my posts and he reached out and said, hey, do you know what additive manufacturing is? And I said, no, I don't. And he kind of opened my eyes to robotics and all the different things that I could do with it. at my company, like I said, we make a lot of different robots for many different fields across the board. We have robots for the medical field, military. We have the underwater robots. So all our robots are made to help humans stay safe. That is our goal. So a human wouldn't be doing, the robot is in place for the human. So that's our main goal here at our company.
Show of hands for the students. How many of you know what a 3D printer is? Have you seen a 3D printer? Okay, cool. So I think every single hand went up. Cool. So they're familiar with, I was concerned they weren't going to know what you were talking about, but they know exactly what it is. So you heard
Yeah, they're pretty popular.
Yeah, exactly. You heard Shakol mention that additive manufacturing, because what are you doing when a 3D printer prints? What's it doing? It's laying down plastic, right? It's adding layers. It's building up something from nothing, right? That's okay. So yeah, so additive manufacturing is another word, another phrase for 3D printing, because you're printing from nothing and you're building something usually out of plastic, but sometimes metal. And I see somebody here has a Hershey bar. You know that they're actually 3D printing chocolates as well.
Yes.
They're 3D printing houses.
Yes.
They're 3D printing like bicycles, medicine. They're 3D printing like artificial ears. It's crazy what you can do with 3D printing. So, Shakul, what's a typical day look like? What kind of things do you do on a day-to-day basis there at RE Squared? And where are you guys located too, while you're at it?
Yes, so we're located in Lawrenceville, off of Butler Street. And a typical day for me is shipping and receiving packages. Shipping and receiving packages and 3D printing. We get drawings and releases. So there's just there's certain parts, certain things that I have to print. Some are time sensitive, some are not. So I handle that. I get 3D printed parts printed for different builds and things like that. And then I also do some electrical work as far as like crimping and stripping wires and things like that. Also do some mechanical work in the shop with the guys. So I do a lot of different things here.
So it sounds like, especially being a small company, there's an opportunity to do a little bit of everything and get your hands into a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, with my position, I'm a lab assistant. Like I have no educational background besides having my 3D printer. That's the only education that I have. So when I first started, they were kind of just like throwing things at me and we're like, if you can do them, great. If not, we'll find something else for you to do. And they threw stuff at me and I was able to do it. And it was just like, wow, I've never done this before. And to come into a place that's so different, so unique, and have no experience and be able to pick up on it and learn it and have the I don't know what word I want to use, but just have the like understanding of coworkers and supervisors that, hey, she's doesn't have any background, but she has the willingness to learn. She wants to learn. She wants to do this. So I'm definitely grateful and thankful for that.
Now, Shakul, if I remember correctly, you also had a little bit of experience in the healthcare industry before you came to RE Squared. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, I was a CNA for a long time, like maybe like 8 years, CNA aide. I also have my phlebotomy license, so certificate. So yeah, I was in that field for a long time.
What does CNA stand for?
Certified nursing assistant.
Is anybody interested in becoming a nurse? Anybody interested in healthcare, working in a hospital, working in a doctor's office? Nope, these are all robots people. Nobody raised their hand. So, but just know, if you're interested in healthcare, if you're interested in working in a hospital, if you're interested in medicine, if you're interested in being a nurse, here's an example of how you can take that interest and apply it to something like robotics. And there's different career paths, and you never know what direction life's going to take you. So with that, I'm going to turn over to Genna real quick. Genna, why don't you tell us a little bit more about Tudi, and tell us a little bit about your career pathway and how you got to where you're at currently.
Sure. So like I said, we're a mechanical contractor. We do HVAC work, which is heating and air conditioning, electrical, plumbing, and building automations. So I got into this field actually because of my dad. So whenever I was younger, my dad had a business of his own in the same field. So I kind of grew up around that. I got to see what he was doing every day, and I really got an interest in it, and I felt comfortable in it. So whenever I graduated college, I started working here. And I've made my way through all the departments. So I've gotten to see how a lot of different things work. And like we talked about robotics, we're not necessarily a robotics company, but if you think about how like a lighting system or your air conditioning works in a house or a building, it's kind of like just a little robot that has programming in it to get everything to work, it's really cool. And the technology is really advancing in that. So it's pretty cool, the things we get to see and put together.
So yeah, so again, sometimes, not always, but sometimes when you look at what your parents do, that's something that you want to do too. And obviously Genna is an example of that. So Genna, what was your educational background, and then, you know, kind of, you know, were you planning to go into this, or did you just kind of fell into it?
I wasn't necessarily planning on going into it. So I graduated from college with a Bachelor of Science in Management. So I went to school for management and continuous improvement, which is what I'm interested in and which is what I'm moving towards. But being in kind of a leadership role here, that's really made a difference, and it's helped me to be able to learn how to lead people. And I'm in charge of 10 to 15 people on a daily basis. So it has really helped me to learn how to communicate with those people and learn management techniques.
So right now, since Genna's on here with us, all her 10 or 15 employees, their reports are all running amok right now.
Right, they don't know what to do without me.
She's the boss lady, right? So that's good. I did have a quick question. I just lost what it was. Tell us a little bit, Genna, about what are some of the jobs and types of jobs that Tudi employs. You know, you talked a little bit about plumbing and HVAC, but can you expand on that and maybe talk about some of the other careers and jobs too?
Sure. So, I mean, we do both residential and commercial, which means we can either go into someone's house and do something as simple as, like Nate said, installing a new air conditioner in someone's house, to something as large as a recent project we did. We did a brand new 30,000 square foot building that it was built. We did all of the air conditioning in it. We ran all the gas lines, all the water lines, put all the lights in. So our entire company as a whole kind of helped to build a whole building, it's really cool. And we also do building automations, which is basically if you see your thermostat on the wall, that controls, sure there's one there somewhere, that controls the air conditioning or the heating in there. So really there's a lot of programming that goes into that to be able to control that. So we do that for entire buildings at a time.
Shakol, why don't you tell us a little bit about there at RE Squared? What are some of the different jobs and job titles and job responsibilities that are there? But then I'd also like for you to just start by talking about what Nate just mentioned, which is, you know, like, when I think about what you guys make, it's almost a work of art, you know, and it really is pretty amazing how you're taking metal and electronics and plastics and all these different things and kind of it's coming together in this beautiful robot you guys are creating.
Yeah. So we, I know some of the ones off the top of my head. We have engineers. We have the guys in the shop, so we have mechanics. We have.
I really put her on the spot.
You did. I know we have like, geez.
So you guys,
Those
you
are
have
the
some
two that I know off the top of my head.
You have you probably have some software engineers there. I'm
We
assuming
do.
You have some
Mhm.
electrical engineers,
We do. Yep.
mechanical engineers,
Yes.
any machinists, like a CNC machinist or a manual machinist?
Yes. Yes, we
Uh,
do.
Probably some
I call them
electronic,
mechanics, machinists. Yes.
probably some electronic technicians or just jack of all trades technician roles, which is kind of what you fall into, right?
Right. Yes.
You probably have accounting, you have salespeople and
Mhm.
office workers too, right?
Right. Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Finance and all that good stuff. Project managers.
So hopefully you guys are starting to think about like some of these job titles. Some of them might mean some stuff to you now, but also I'm just kind of putting those in your brain because later on you're going to be like, oh, wait a minute. When Scott and Nate came and talked to us, they were talking about engineers. They were talking about project managers. They were talking about software engineers. They were talking about all the different kinds of engineering there is, and that there's a wide array of kinds of engineering. So all the things we just want to get you guys thinking about and know that there's a lot of opportunities and under the roof of one building and one manufacturing company, there's all these cool things, all these different careers that all have to come together to make that company work. So, all right. So I said I was going to ask questions from you. So what questions do you have? I'll start calling on people, or I'll start taking snacks away if you don't ask questions. How about that? So all of a sudden, every hand just shot up when I said I was going to take their food away. So I'm not that mean, but. So the question is, and we'll start with you, Nicole. Do you like your job?
I love it. Amazing.
And why is that?
The diversity. I love doing different things every day.
So if you like to do the same thing, do you like to do the same thing every day? Boring, monotonous, same thing every day? You like it to be different and variety and exciting and new and right? That's what Nicole gets to do. What about you, Genna?
I agree. I also love my job. Kind of the same thing. I never really know what's going to happen in a day. There could be like a crazy emergency that happens, or some days are calmer days. So you kind of never know what you're going to get.
What other questions? I'm eyeing up those Pringles, but she hit them on me. So
Genna, we have a few young ladies in the room, and I was wondering, as a woman in an industry like HVAC, what is that like? And do you have any advice for the young women in here?
Yeah, of course. So it is a little bit different. I mean, there's only less than 20 women in a company of over 200. So it's a little bit different for me, especially when I don't necessarily have the technical education that a lot of the guys here have. But honestly, everybody here has been so helpful with me. And if there aren't things that I know, they definitely help, and I've got to learn a lot. So it definitely was uncomfortable in the beginning because I was in a situation where I was one of the only women, and it was something that I didn't necessarily know a ton about. So it was uncomfortable, but I wouldn't change my experience at all.
So what's something, Genna, since you're on, and we'll go back to you, Nicole. And of course, I'm going to come back to ask more questions. So be thinking. What's one of the things when you were in school, like what was your favorite subject in school? And then like, what was the one thing you wish you would have learned in school that would have helped you now that you're an adult?
Well, I know that whenever, maybe not necessarily in high school or elementary school, but whenever I was in college, my like management classes were my favorite because that's really what I like to do and what I wanted to do. So I always knew that I wanted to be able to lead people and be a leader for others. So that's what I really looked forward to.
Cool. Nicole, what about you?
What was the question again?
So what was your favorite subject in school? And then like, what do you wish you would have learned in school that would have helped you in your careers or helped you in life in general?
Mm-hmm. I want to say that my favorite subject in school is math. I really like math. I really like solving things, equations, and
I see some heads nodding. So there's some other math people in the room.
Yeah, math is really good. One subject that I wish I would have paid attention more to would be my wood shop class. If I would have knew that I was going to be doing this, I definitely would have paid more attention to wood shop, just learning like basic measurements and different things like that. I struggle a little bit with, even though I love math, but it's just the measurements and areas of things and spatial, different things like that. I'm just like, whoa, yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about like the difficulty of changing kind of careers, and that's something that I think happens more common than you go to college, get to keep that career you do for the next 60 years of your life. But
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about
Sure.
this?
So I'll repeat that, Nicole. A lot of people have the mindset that if you go to college to be a nurse, in your case, then that's the track you stay in forever. You got to be a nurse forever because that's what you went to school for. So can you talk a little bit about like, changing careers, but also like, changing like, I guess just that, how the pathways will be different in life.
Yeah. So originally, whenever I got my CNA, I wanted to go into trucking, but I wanted to get my CDL, but they talked me into CNA. And with my CNA, with the nursing field, period, there's so many different departments and things that you can go into. Nursing is very diverse. I mean, very, very diverse. You could be a hospice nurse. You could, help deliver babies. You could, be there whenever people, are getting anesthesia. Like there's so many different things to do. So whenever I decided that I was going to stop being a CNA and do something different, I was a little scared, but I don't know. I like challenge. I like new things. I like doing new things. And it was starting to get really boring for me because I didn't want to get my LPN. That's the next step up from CNA. And I didn't want to be an RN. Like I went to school maybe for like 2 weeks for an RN. And I was just like, this is not for me. I can't do it. So that's when I decided, okay, this really isn't my field. We're going to try to find something else. It was scary, but I like challenges.
Jenna,
I'm sorry, one last, just to piggyback on what you're saying before we go back to Jenna. Nicole, can you just talk about a little bit about the importance of being a continuous learner?
Mm-hmm. It's very important to always just continue learning and always ask questions. Like I know in school that, oh, there's never a dumb question. Like, no, really, if you want to learn something, if you, want to go a different way than what you've already been, you find a mentor, find somebody already in that profession and ask them as many questions as you can.
So Jenna, can you talk to us about that same topic of being a lifelong learner? And then I'm curious, did you were a business major the entire time, and then or did you think about changing, or maybe even have an example of somebody that you work with that's kind of radically changed their career path?
Yeah. So we'll start with the lifelong learner. I completely agree with that. I don't think you should ever stop learning. You could be 80 years old and you should still be learning, whether that's reading books or going to classes or just talking to the people around you. Like the people that I work with are some of the smartest people I know, and I've learned so much from them. So that's something, especially at the age of you guys, keep learning forever. Do whatever you can. In my path, so whenever I went to college, I went in not having any idea really what I wanted to do. I was undecided, and then I landed on the business side of it in management because I have always known that I wanted to be in a leadership type role, but still towards the end of college, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I ended up here, and I'm still working on my career, and this isn't the end for me. I'm still working on where I'm going to go, but at least I know what I do want to do.
So what questions? Remember we just talked about like asking good questions. There's no dumb questions that was just mentioned. So who else has questions for either Jenna or for Nicole? since we have a lot of math people in the room, I'll come back to you in just a second. Since we had a lot of people that liked math, what kind of math? Like, is it addition? Is it algebra? Is it calculus? Like, what kind of math is needed to be successful? And I see some folks in the room, they're like, oh man, calculus is easy, you know, but, and then you're like 10 years old, they're like, calculus, huh? But what kind of math do you use on a regular basis, Jenna? Or what kind of math do you see that's important for the folks that you hire there, Tudi? And then I'm going to ask you the question.
Well, there are a lot of complex like equations and everything, not necessarily that I'm doing, but that our engineers are doing to determine size of units that you're going to need on a building or how much power you're going to need. There's a lot that goes into that. So obviously I'm not doing that myself, but I do know that math is one of the most important things and probably a lot more fields than we think.
Cole, what about you? Any thoughts on math?
Yeah, same thing that Jenna said. I know a lot of need to know a lot of measurements. Need to know a lot of conversions and converting from what are the two units of measurements. I know we have like American and
like the metrics, English to metrics.
Yeah. There you go. Yes. I struggle with that a lot, doing that conversion. Yeah.
Great. So there was another question back here. What was your question? So the question is, how long are the shifts, aka like how many hours a day do you work? I think is what she's really getting at.
So I work 40 hours a week. I have a full-time position.
We have some really big eyeballs here right now going 40 hours in a week. What?
Yeah.
But that's like standard. Everybody works 40 hours at least.
Right.
Jenna, what about you?
I work 50 hours a week. So I work from 7 to 5 every day.
I always jokingly say that even in my job, like somehow I cram 60 hours into a 40-hour work week. So,
and even after those hours, you're not done working.
But it's actually a great point, Jenna, because with the folks that you guys employ a lot of in the HVAC and plumbing areas, again, show of hands. I like participation. Show of hands. How many people like it? Air conditioning again? How many people like running water? How many people would really freak out if like the sink was overflowing and like everything was all backed up and like the toilet was overflowing? That would not be good, right? So you'd probably want somebody really fast to come over and fix that. And it wouldn't matter if it was Christmas Day. It wouldn't matter if it was 2 o'clock in the morning. It wouldn't matter if it was a weekend or a weekday, right? You want that fixed. So Jenna, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so that's a large part of our business. We do after hours calls, and our technicians are on call a lot of the time, which means after everyone goes home at 5 o'clock, if there's an emergency that comes in, they have to go out and take care of it. So whether that's a large, say, manufacturing building that their air conditioning goes down and they can't continue a process without that, we have to go out there immediately. If someone's house, it's the dead of winter and they don't have heat, we have to go out and fix that. So, I mean, I'm not the one doing that, going out and fixing that, but I get the calls, I get the emails, I get the texts all hours of the night. So it's kind of never ending, but it's good knowing that we're able to help people.
So here's a good follow-up question. If somebody has to go like at 2 o'clock in the morning and go fix something, do they get paid extra?
They do. They get paid overtime, which is time and a half.
So at least there's a little bit of an extra bonus, right? If they have to go out at 2 o'clock in the morning or on a weekend or Christmas Day, at least it's not like they're going to get paid a little bit more. So that's a good thing.
This is one of our 3D printed parts.
Cool. See, it says RE squared on it.
Yes.
So can you tell us what that part is, or is it top secret?
It goes. It's just a logo for one of our. Yeah, it just goes on the outside of one of the robots.
Yeah, so the question again is, what's the work atmosphere like? So Mr. Cole, since you're unmuted, why don't you start? Like, what's it like there? Is it like a buzz of activity? Is everybody just sitting in their cubicle, never talking to each other? Do you guys have fun while you're at work? You know, tell us a little
Oh
bit.
yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty cool company to work for. Like we get paid holidays, so we don't have to come, on holidays. We get paid holidays. Weekends, we don't have to come on the weekends. Like the owner is really family oriented, so he wants the weekends for you to be home with your kids. Holidays, spend those with your family. The work environment's super cool. It's super chill for the most part, but I want to say, yeah, it's more hectic than super chill because whenever we're building stuff, it's, everybody is trying to get it done and trying to get it right. Stuff goes wrong. It has to be built over again. And, going through those steps of making sure it's functional and doing what it's supposed to do. So it can get hectic, but for the most part, it's pretty chill. We do definitely have fun. We have outings and different things like that.
And they're in Lawrenceville. Anybody know where Lawrenceville is? So they're like right in what they call Robotics Row, where there's like all
Yeah.
kinds of robotics companies right there, but there's also like a ton of really good restaurants there and like
Yes.
all kinds of other fun stuff to go do, like right there in Lawrenceville. So it's
Yes.
kind of a nice place to be, right?
Their neighbors and Carnegie Robotics.
Yep. So Jenna, what about your place of work? What's it like there?
Yeah, we're kind of the same way. We're a family-owned company, and it really feels like that. It kind of seems like we're all just one big family here. We're always laughing together. We fight like a family. But for the most part, it's great. It is always a little bit hectic here too, just because there's so much going on. There's so many people. 4 or so people have looked in the window while I've been sitting here doing this. But no, honestly, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's like I'm with these people more than I'm with my own family. So it's like a family.
So what I just did was I wanted to find out what the average age of everybody in here. So the average age is 11 years old.
Average age is
Jenna,
11.
Nicole, what would you guys say to your 11-year-old selves to try to wrap your minds around where you're going to be in the next few years and to try to get you situated in your careers that you guys are in right now? Like what is 11-year-old Jenna and 11-year-old Nicole, what do they need to hear to make you guys the people that you are today?
I would tell my 11-year-old self to keep learning and keep trying to figure out what you're passionate about. I mean, I think it's great that you guys are even here in the first place, which is a great step, but keep learning throughout those years of your life. Keep trying to figure out what you want to do and experiment with different career paths that you could have, or just things that you're interested in. And I think your older self will thank you for that.
Mhm. Yeah, what Jenna said, I definitely feel like I would tell my 11-year-old self to find an adult that does what you want to be doing. Like I say that all the time. Find a mentor, find somebody that's doing what you want to do so you can, it's time is, one thing, putting in a lot of time to something, whatever, but whenever an adult sees a young person and sees they have a genuine want to learn something and to be interested in something, that's amazing for a lot of people. A lot of people will help you. You just have to find that person doing what you want to do, reach out. If you have any family members, if you have any, if your family member, their friends, anybody, just try to make a network of people that are, in the field that you want to be in.
So the last question I have for you today is, how important is teamwork? And what kind of things do you, how much do you rely on other people? And, you can, if you want to go down the pathway of talking about communication within team members, you can do that too. But just talk to us a little bit about teamwork and the importance of teamwork when it comes to doing your jobs. Whoever wants to go first.
Okay, I'll go. Teamwork is very important. I said I handle a lot of the shipping and receiving, so I have to reach out to whoever those packages are coming in for, as well as whenever it's time to ship something, they have to reach out to me. Hey, I have this, I need this shipped out. So we're always in constant communication. All of our companies, we're all in constant communication. We all work together to get whatever needs to get done. Like we have like engineers, we have the engineers working with the mechanics and the mechanics working with the, so it all just goes together to make the dream work.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Yes.
Genna?
I agree. I mean, teamwork and communication are not obviously the number one factor. I think our business wouldn't run without teamwork. All of our departments work together, that everyone in each department works together. We have to work with our customers, with our vendors, and communication goes hand in hand with that. There's a lot of phone calls, a lot of meetings for everyone to get on the same page and work together. And if people aren't working together, then it makes it hard on the business and to get things done the proper way. So teamwork is, I'd say it's huge.
Let's give a big round of applause and thank you to Genna and to Cole. Thank you so much. We appreciate the time. You guys are awesome. And again, having fun with the rest of your day.
Thank you too.
Thanks, you too.